Prophetic book literature is very difficult to understand, and I would say for three main reasons. First of all, the designation of the genre itself that derives from the text is misleading, because when you think prophetic, you tend to think predictions of the future only. But the prophetic literature as a literary slice is way more than just prediction. And anyone who were to pick up the prophets and read it would see that. But so the overall designation, prophetic literature, is almost a deterrent for people understanding what this block is about, because it is way more than just prediction in nature. So that's the first thing. But the second thing that makes predictive literature or prophecy hard to understand initially or difficult to grasp is because of the very genre itself. If you were to pick up Amos or Hosea, for example, you will soon see that it is filled with poetic language. And by nature, poetic language means it utilizes a lot of figures of speech. And it also utilizes a lot of parallelism. So when I say figures of speech, we're talking about metaphorical language. We're talking about similes, comparisons, contrasts, and we're also talking about hyperbolic language. And that makes it hard for any reader in any time to figure out what is the meaning of that figure of speech. And so it's almost like it's a two-step process, because you're figuring out what this figure of speech is, and then you're trying to understand meaning beyond that. The other reason it's difficult in terms of the literary genre has to do with the fact that that same genre that utilizes a lot of figures of speech also uses parallelism. So one line could be repeating itself right after the other, one line could be in contrast to the other line, and so the reader has to follow that carefully, because a lot of concepts are actually being repeated twice. And so in that sense, the genre of the prophetic literature is tricky. And I think the third reason that I would say why prophetic literature is challenging and difficult to understand has to do with the very thing called the predictive element that's involved in so many prophecies, because everybody's asking, when does this take place? So for example, Ezekiel chapter 40 through 48 talks about a new temple that's going to come on the scene. And everybody just wants to know, well, when is this? When is this going to happen? Did it already happen, or when will it happen? And therefore, that is a really challenging piece when one considers prophetic literature overall.